Welcome to the video tutorial of our monthly budget spreadsheet. This spreadsheet is available in Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel 365 and also in multiple color variations. In this tutorial, I am using the Excel version in color pink lavender, but all the versions of this template work the same way regardless of the color or spreadsheet software. There are 3 tabs we are going to use in this template: the Setup tab, the Monthly tab, and the Build Calendar. If you want to use this template for multiple months, you should duplicate and rename the Monthly tab. I suggest that you do this right at the beginning, when this tab is still empty, because if you remove any formulas from the Monthly tab and only then you duplicate it, the duplicated tab may not work properly. To duplicate the Monthly tab in Excel, simply right-click on it, select Move or Copy, make sure to check Create a Copy and then click on OK. And then you can rename it. In Google Sheets, it's even simpler, just right-click on the tab and select Duplicate. Now let's see how to set up the template. By default, the currency of the spreadsheet is in dollar, but you can simply enter a different currency here in the Setup tab, and that will change the currency of the entire template. Next, you can customize your subcategories. You will have the option to sort your transactions into 7 main categories: income, expense, bills, subscriptions, debts, savings, and investment. For each category, you can set up 28 subcategories. This template already includes the most common subcategories, but you can simply override them and create new ones. Finally, the last part of the Setup tab is the Keyword Editor. This is an optional but highly recommended feature that you will not find in most budget templates. Usually, in most templates, you would have to manually select the category and subcategory for each of your transactions. But if you have a lot of transactions in a month, then this can be a really time-consuming and boring task. With the Keyword Editor, you can set up a keyword for your most frequent transactions, then select their category and subcategory ones. And if you do that, the spreadsheet will be able to automatically categorize your transactions in the Monthly tab if a keyword is detected in the description field. So I will come back to this feature later in this video and show you how you can use this in practice, but to understand it, first we need to take a look at the Monthly tab. In the Monthly tab, some of the cells are protected to make sure that you don't remove important formulas. If you want to get rid of the sheet protection, in Excel, go to Review and click on Unprotect Sheet. In Google Sheets, go to Data, select Protect Sheets and Ranges, and you can unprotect the ranges by clicking on a Delete button. The first thing we are going to do in the Monthly tab is to set up a budget for each subcategory. If you scroll down a bit, you will find a table called Detailed Breakdown. This is where we are going to enter our expected amount. In this table, only fill out the budget column. All the other columns will be automatically calculated. So next to each subcategory, start typing the amount of money you expect to spend in case of expenses and expect to receive in case of income. After that, if you want to, you can set up some money goals for the month. And finally, we are going to start logging your transactions. First, I am going to show you the traditional way of logging transactions, and then I will show you how you can automatize your budgeting with the help of the Keyword Editor. So let's say you work at a company called Big Chocolate Company and you received your first paycheck. Enter the date of transaction, the amount of money you received. As description, you can type the company name. Then select the category, so this is an income, and the subcategory would be paycheck. Then you went to a restaurant called Pizza Star, so enter the date, the amount of money you spent, the restaurant name, and then again select the category and the subcategory. So this is the traditional way of logging your actual transactions, and if you want to use the spreadsheet this way, you're absolutely free to do so. However, as I said, there is an option for some automation, so I will going to delete these entries and go back to the Setup tab. Since the paycheck from your employer is a recurring transaction, you can set up a keyword for that. You don't need to type the entire company's name, just 1 or 2 words that will always appear in the description field of your transaction. That way, the template will be able to identify and categorize the transactions for you. So in this case, let's type chocolate company and select the category and subcategory. And let's say that the restaurant Pizza Star is a restaurant that you visit frequently, so let's type Pizza Star and select the category and subcategory. Now let's go back to the monthly tab. From now on, every time you type the word chocolate company in the description field, the category and subcategory will be auto-populated. The same goes for the word Pizza Star. The keyword detector is not case sensitive, so it doesn't matter if your keyword is in lowercase or uppercase letters, and it also doesn't matter if you have any words before or after your keyword. As long as the description field includes a keyword, the spreadsheet will be able to identify the transaction type and automatically fill out the category and subcategory for you. The best way to utilize this feature is to download your transaction history from your bank account, analyze the merchant's information to identify your most frequent transactions, then set up your keywords accordingly, and finally, copy-paste the date, the amount, and the merchant's details to the spreadsheet. In this next section, I will show you how you can copy-paste your transaction history to this template and spend less than 5 minutes on your budgeting each month. This is not a real transaction history, just an example of how most transaction histories may look like. Most banks should allow you to download your transaction history from your bank account in an Excel format. In your transaction history, you should find a column with the date of transaction, the amount, and the merchant's details. This last one is what we need to analyze to set up our keywords. In this example, I see a lot of Costco, Walmart, McDonald's, Burger King, so it's probably a good idea to set up a keyword for those stores. Let's go back to our keyword editor and start setting up our keywords. Once our keywords are set up, you can simply copy-paste the date, the amount, and the merchant's details from your transaction history to the spreadsheet. As you can see, for most of the transactions, the category and subcategory have been auto-populated. I have set up Costco as a keyword, so for every transaction where the description includes the word Costco, the template has identified the transaction types. But there are still a few lines where the category and subcategory haven't been auto-populated because the description field doesn't include any keywords. For those lines, you can simply select the category and subcategory manually. The more keyword you create in the keyword editor, the more transactions the template will identify for you. And you can add a keyword anytime, just click on the key icon here next to the date column, and you will be directed to your last keyword. That way, logging your transactions will get easier and easier each month. In some cases, you may run into a problem when copy-pasting data from your transaction history to the template. You may receive an error message, or the copied data may not show up properly in the spreadsheet, like in this example. If that happens to you, don't worry, there is an easy solution. First, undo the changes and go back to your transaction history. Next, we are going to format the date. This is an optional step. If you don't mind keeping the same date format as in your transaction history, you don't have to do that. But if you do want to keep the budget template's date format, then select the dates within your transaction history. Under Home, go to More Number Formats, and under Date, we are going to select this date format. Next, select the dates and press Ctrl Copy. If you're using the Excel version of the budget template, go to the date column and right-click in the first cell. Select Paste Special, select Paste Special again, and click on Formulas and Number Formats. If you're using the Google Sheets version, the process is very similar, but there is one additional step at the beginning. We are going to create a new sheet temporarily and copy-paste our entire transaction history to the newly created sheet. Then copy the dates and go back to your monthly tab. Right-click in the first cell under the date column, select Paste Special, and select Values Only. Do the same thing with the amount and description. And once you have finished, you can simply delete the newly created sheet. One more thing I would like to point out before showing you the chart. If you want to add a new subcategory throughout the year in the Setup tab, then be aware that it might affect your budgeted amount in the monthly tabs. That's because if you enter a new subcategory here, that subcategory will appear in the detailed breakdown table of your monthly tabs. But if you have already entered your budgets for the month, those amounts will not move together with it and might result in a mismatch between your budgets and your subcategories. If that happens to you, you can simply copy-paste the affected cells one row downwards. But to avoid this from happening, I suggest that every month, once you have finished entering your budgets and you're sure that you won't need any more subcategories for the month, fix the category column. To do that, first we need to unprotect the sheet. Then select all the items in the category column. Press Ctrl Copy. Right-click on it. Select Paste Special. And select Values Only. That way, if you add a new subcategory in the Setup tab, that new subcategory will appear in all the future monthly tabs, but not in the months that we have already fixed. Of course, if you're sure that you won't need any more subcategories in the future, you don't need to fix the category column. And now let's have a look at the charts. On the top of the monthly tab, you will see a summary of your monthly income, expenses, bills, savings, and debt payment. You can also see how your income compares to your different expenses in the actual allocation chart. You will also find some pie chart with the breakdown of your income, expenses, and debt payments. And in the cash flow summary chart, you can compare your budgeted amounts to your actual income and expenses. This spreadsheet will also calculate how much money you have left for the month. The first amount is your actual expenses deducted from your actual income, and the second amount is your budgeted expenses deducted from your actual income. There are two more charts in the monthly tab that will show you your top 10 spendings by subcategory and by keyword. So the first chart will tell you whether you have spent the most money on groceries, social life, clothes, etc. And the second chart will tell you in which stores and restaurants you have spent the most amount of money and how much by searching for your keywords. So this is the Excel version, but let me show you the Google Sheets version. As you can see, there are some differences in terms of color because of the different formatting options within Google Sheets and Excel, but the functionalities are exactly the same. Finally, let's have a look at the Bill Calendar tab. This is an optional tab that will allow you to track your bills, subscriptions, and debt payments. Simply select the month you want to track from the drop-down menu, and you can also choose whether you want to see your calendar with a Sunday or Monday start. The spreadsheet will list all your bills, subscriptions, and debts, and all you need to do is to set up a due date. For example, if your electricity bill is due on the 8th of every month, enter the number 8 here. And if you have paid it, simply checkmark it. And as you can see, it has turned green in the calendar with a checkmark. So that concludes the tutorial. I hope it has been helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me.